for Habitat Greenville was selected to lead this project, and we're excited to introduce him today. But first, I would like to invite Reverend Stacy Mills up to say a few words on behalf of the group and what we've done.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks so much. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
This is a momentous occasion for us in Greenville and for our community as a whole, but in particular, for those families who have been struggling to find place in this great community. We certainly commend Habitat for Humanity and join with them in their efforts to make this a reality for our community. I think we join with a number of communities, as Joseph will share, across the country that see this as a priority and making it a reality in our community. We're one step closer today. I'm very interested in how we proceed and what Joseph will bring. His talents far exceed what we see on paper, and his energy and his charisma, I think, will pair very well with the future of Greenville. We're excited about what's about to happen, and we certainly hope that folks will have confidence in this work and the people who are around the table who bring substance to everything that I believe this new direction that Habitat has embarked upon to do great work. And they've already been doing great work, already been answering prayers for many families who are oftentimes not seen. But today we are seen, and today we move forward with making homeownership a reality in our community. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Monroe, in his absence, and the great team of folks that are behind the scenes, ensuring that this is a reality. Thank you so much.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, one of the other partners that has been significant is the City of Greenville, and I'd like to invite up Mayor Knox White to also speak on behalf of the city and their work as well.
Thank you very much, and a great honor for Habitat in Greenville, South Carolina to be one of 20 communities to be able to pilot this project. It's really important. It's not a surprise to me, though, because we do a lot of things first invest in Greenville, so I'm not surprised to say that. We're excited to have an opportunity. In some sense, this is kind of back to the future because the City of Greenville's commitment to affordable housing really started with a focus on home ownership in the 1990s. Then we were faced with something different from what we have today. We were faced with a very serious issue of houses that were not decent and houses that were not safe in the African American community. And we all remember what that was like. I like to recall to the people that this was not just substandard housing at its phrase. People died. People died in Dean Sullivan Street. In one particular week, 4 people died of freezing to death in one neighborhood, Dean Sullivan. That's how serious it was. So we addressed this by headlong into building new, safe, and decent housing. And home ownership was the focus over time. We've kind of switched that over the years to look at rental because more people want rental housing, and here we are newly parked. We're going to have a lot of new rental housing below market, and that's going to be very great. But we also need home ownership. We need it for the stability it brings to neighborhoods. We also need it to help people build, very importantly, generational wealth. And if there's anything in the African American community, Greenville and around the country, that needs to have a focus, it's the building of generational wealth. Because at the end of the day, having this kind of wealth, having income, is what addresses medical issues, medical access. It's what addresses, of course, housing as well. So we salute Habitat and all of our partners. The city has so many great partners to help us achieve this affordable housing on the rental side, and very much now with home ownership. It's going to be a great thing for Greenville, and as usual, Greenville will lead the way. So thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Thank you again for your commitment to the work and affordable home ownership. And so let's meet the star of the show. Let's hear from him. Let's Joseph, come on up and share with us your vision, your goals.
Appreciate it. Who set this line up? Got to go behind the mayor, Reverend Stacy Mills. Good morning. Another day of opportunity, another day of working under His grace, being blessed. So let's try it again. Good morning.
Good morning.
There you go. That's a little better. My name is Joseph Fields. I'm serving as the Vice President for Habitat for Humanity, Greenville, South Carolina. This position is a new position that came in place with the Advancement of Black Home Ownership Grant, also known as ABH. As Mark said, that only 25, I want to say 22 other cities were chosen for this grant. Some of the cities are LA, Connecticut, Dallas, let's see what else we got, New Orleans, and of course, Greenville, South Carolina. Thankfully, we have the Michael Jordan of grant writers in Yasha Rodriguez. You can raise your hand. She didn't know I was gonna call her out. But it was a very competitive grant. The program comes out of Tacoma, Washington, where they have the Black Home Initiative that is counseled by Marty Koister, brilliant gentleman. I got to spend a little time with him in Atlanta. They are doing some very profound things in Tacoma, Washington, moving forward and just being progressive. The Black Home Ownership Initiative, it came about around 2021 after the NAR report came out that 9.2 million more homeowners prior to the decade before have advanced into being home ownership. The breakdown of those numbers, Black home ownership rate was 44%, which is only a 1% growth in 10 years. Hispanic Americans were at 50.6% at the time, where they were the largest growing group in becoming homeowners. Asian Americans were at 62.8%, and white Americans were at 72.7%. The Advancement of Black Home Ownership Initiative is designed to remove barriers that have systematically been put into place to cripple Black home ownership. I have a cohort that I meet with 3 times a month from all these different cities, and we share ideas, we share initiatives, we share what's working in their cities and things that we can adopt in our own. One of the first things that we're doing is identifying key challenges and obstacles that prevent Black individuals and families from becoming homeowners. Something else is financial education and counseling, working with down payment assistance programs, collaborating with local governments and developers to ensure affordable housing and accessibility, even partnering with real estate partnerships, collaborating with banks and credit unions and create special mortgage products that can reduce interest rates for Black homeowners. All of these things are collaborative efforts. No one person does this. This isn't an I win situation. This is a we win situation. This isn't a Black home ownership issue. This is a Greenville issue. I think taking that approach and understanding that a community is better when growth is equitable and beneficial to all parties involved. A couple weeks ago, I was in Atlanta meeting with this ABH group. And as you can imagine, it's some of the most brilliant and beautiful minds and just full of optimism and energy, which you have to tackle a task this big. And in the middle of planning, one of, I'm not gonna say the city, but one of the affiliates who I've grown close to and we become friends, I noticed that he had a look on his face. And it was just very discouraging. It was quick, and then he popped right back into action. I subtly pulled him to the side and I asked him, I said, hey man, what was that? That brief moment, what was that look? And he looks at me and he goes, Joseph, I don't think my hands is big enough to get around this problem. The city has grown so much and affordability just isn't in the conversation. He was worried, I mean, as we all are. But then I thought about Greenville. I think our hands are big enough to get around this problem. But the train is leaving. It's at the station. We have to collaborate now. We have to work together now. We have to attack this issue now. We have plans for Greenville 2040. We have all these plans where we want Greenville to be. They're going to happen. So it's very, very important that we work on Black home ownership now. This initiative is something that's very important to me, that I'm very passionate about. Not because of the obvious, I'm Black. All right? Shocker. But my beautiful mother, raise your hand, Ma, if you would. I'm embarrassing people today. My beautiful mother, 34 years ago, about 34, packed up me and everything that she has and left the only home she knew in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and came to Greenville, South Carolina. This was shortly after my father was murdered. She came here looking for affordability. She came here looking for opportunity. She came here looking for stability. We found affordability renting the apartments in O'Hara. You remember that? It's not the O'Hara apartments anymore. It's right across the street from Mitchell Road Elementary, where I went to elementary. At the time, I was actually in daycare. But she found that. She found the opportunity working at Hillcrest Hospital in medical billing. She found stability, becoming a homeowner. All those things allowed her to pour into me. For everything I am good comes from this woman. This is the importance of keeping those things. I have of course, a debt to my mother. Thank you. But I also like to say thank you to Greenville for embracing us and giving us those things where she didn't have to go to Charlotte. She didn't have to go to Atlanta. She stayed here. In return, of course, I'm here in the physical because of her. But I'm here in Greenville, and I'm able to contribute back. It's an old African proverb. A child who isn't embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. I think it's two sides of that. We were embraced by Greenville. My mother found those things that she was looking for. She was able to pour into me. In return, now as the child, I'm not looking to burn down the village. I'm here to contribute to the village. I feel like I owe a debt to the village. I want to do everything I can do to personally help Greenville grow. But once again, this isn't an I win, this is a we win. This isn't an I problem, this is a we problem. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. My information is on our website. I love to talk. I love to collaborate. Let's throw some ideas around. Let's figure it out together. If you don't contact me, chances are I will be contacting you. The mayor knows I will call you. I will look for that information. But thank you for coming out, and God bless. Yeah.
I'm a little bit under the weather, so my voice sounds cloudy. It's not because I'm not excited about what's happening in Greenville and what's happening for Habitat and the people that live in this community. To have a safe and affordable place to call home is not a privilege. It's a right. Families are the foundation of our society, and when the overall well-being of a household is unhealthy, success is limited, and the family fails to thrive. This is more about Habitat. This is more about the city This is more about the county. Things are changing because they must change. We have to move past the old laws that kept African Americans in restricted places through housing and through economics. So you ask us why we're doing this. Why is this so important? I think Joseph has shared that, Mark has shared that, the mayor has shared that. I'm just going to share a couple of statistics with you. When we look across our country and we look at the gaps in Black homeownership, those gaps are getting larger, not smaller. When we look at the wealth in this country, African Americans have accumulated median wealth of $17,000. White families, $171,000. We all know that wealth accumulation starts with the ownership of property. When we look at Greenville County and we see that 83% of our owner-occupied homes have white residents compared to 12% of our African American and people of color. African Americans have been discriminated against because of laws that have ruled this country for over 80 years. And I'm glad that Greenville is recognizing that it's time for a change and that we're going to make it right. I also want to share that when a Habitat house is completed, volunteers come together along with the family that's purchasing that house, and there's a celebration. We are really recognizing the accomplishments of the true village that comes together to help people succeed. But homeownership is not just about the family getting a home. It's an economic narrative. When a homeowner starts to look at, what are the things I'm going to do? I'm going to get a landscape, or I'm going to create a place of refuge. Homeowners are buying durable goods. Homeowners are paying taxes. Their children do better in school. Their parents become more civically engaged. The community benefits because employers can find productive individuals to work in their businesses. Homeownership is not just about the family. Homeownership is a benefit for our community as a whole. And if the community as a whole continues to prosper, and that families of every income level are able to reach their dreams, then we end up with a better Greenville. We end up with a better South Carolina, and we end up with a better nation. I'd like to thank our board members who are here today. Everyone in this room is a friend of Habitat, and we are so honored that you have placed your faith in us to do what is right. Thank you.
Thank you again, everyone, for coming. And just as a parting, closing thought, as I looked around this room, as I listened to what is said today, you know, the mission, like I said, the mission of Habitat is to bring people together to build homes, communities, and hope. And I look around this room and I see community leaders, I see current board members, I see former board members, I see good partners and friends like Jenny who've been helpful, not only for us, but for the community in other ways. And I am reminded once again that it does take all of us working together, and I am so thankful and appreciative that each and every one of you, and I apologize if I could say that this room is full of a lot of staff too, that spend their time and have committed that that's the career that they've chosen, is to do this work. And so I want to thank you all so much for your time, your effort, your energy, for your commitment to this. There's a lot to do.